Hello, everybody, and welcome to another stream on the Sunday. Hopefully, your Sunday is going good. And yeah, for today, I didn't really have a lot going on, but I thought something, kind of just continuing with what I was saying at the end of the stream yesterday, namely just to create a few assets to kind of taper out the town. So I was talking about some of the bigger buildings, like these ones around here, uh, being towards the middle of the town. And then as you go towards like the outskirts, you can see like some of them are kind of getting a little smaller. There's these kind of just shops here, like the laundromat is a little smaller. And then going out, maybe just some like smaller houses with some like garages and so something like that. Now, towards the end of the town, I was showing you yesterday, there's like the diner, there's like a little warehouse on this side, there's some of these kind of a little bit beaten down houses. And what I was thinking of, doing during the stream today is actually just, some 3D modeling. Like I said, I didn't have a lot planned for today, but I wanted to do something from a reference photo that I found, and it's something that looks kind of like this. This is off of actually just off of Google Maps. So this is kind of just a little bit of a like a like a garage that could be placed around just to kind of fill the scenes in. And so I was thinking of creating that today. Oh, actually, I found kind of like a front-facing image as well. And yeah, just working on a little bit of 3D modeling in Blender and just keeping it a little light today, uh, not a lot going on. So let's get to it. We'll basically just kind of start from scratch and I'll try to use some of the existing textures I have and I already have some ideas of some things that I might be able to use. And but first, let's try and create the 3D model. Kind of there's some garage doors out here with some indentations. Kind of this little opening window boarded up type of thing. And yeah, let's see what can come of this. So let's go back into Blender here. And I might just start off, I'm gonna keep this as like apartment facades, like just the buildings around town. And I'm just gonna start new. And yes, some of you might see this, and yeah, well, um, it is 2.79. It's the version that I have, um, most of my, some of the add-ons that I purchased for, and I'm, kind of just used to the shortcuts and all that, so it does the job just fine. I didn't spend the time in getting into like the changes in shortcuts and like the changes in some of the UX and the three versions. So we're gonna use this one. As far as most of the shortcuts are gonna be the same, so I'm gonna uh, display that as well for anybody that's interested. But yeah, all right, so I'm going to start. This is kind of the reference here, and it might be easier, I think, maybe from like a kind of like a scaling proportion perspective to get this into Blender here. So let me see if I can recall how to do that. I know there was a way to import the image. Where was that? Background images. There we go. So I'm just going to try and see if I can find that image. And the one that's kind of from the front, I think this might be it here. There we go. So at least we got, even though, the shape itself overall might end up as a kind of a smaller shape, but what I'm interested in is the proportions, like kind of how big this door is compared to the building and so on. So let's start by just adding like a cube, and I'm just going to go into wireframe mode here for a little bit. Now, as far as how big this is, on the back side, kind of, the side of it, that part, I'm probably just gonna guesstimate it. You can't really tell how big some of these things are. But yeah, like I said, the main thing that I'm interested in is having this, and then, kind of trying to get this in for the doors. And yeah, there are gonna be some stumbling going on because I don't do a whole lot of modeling recently, so bear with me here. All right, so I think we got some doors happening here, and let's do something for this opening, kind of what is a window here. And I think this one also has a side, though the side image is not the greatest. So I'm just going to keep these as is for now. And then I'm just going to extend this out. Let's call this, so this is, I know this one is like 2 meters. So if I go back to here, this one's like 2 meters. So I'm just going to extend it out by another, let's call it 6 meters long. That might be a little big, but I think that fits about the size of, from what I can tell in these reference photos. And on this side, so this is kind of the image that I'm looking at here. And so I'm looking at kind of the side of this where we have this little window, and trying to compare it to this one. I know it looks like it starts at the top of the garage door and it goes to about kind of 3/4 of the way. So we'll see if we can get some of that in there. So I'm just going to use these kind of um, as the shapes to cut out of this big part of the garage. And so I'm just gonna use this one here to place it right around here. And luckily the shape of it seems to work out pretty good. And let's see, so I went up by 2 meters. Let's call it about 1.5 for that opening. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is, if we look at these images, let's take a look here. As you can see, there's the they're indented, right? So that's what I want to do. I want to kind of, I wouldn't call it sculpt, but make uh, this indentations into the building, for where the openings would be. And after that, we'll kind of add the trim around it, and and the doors. And of course, we have a little bit of a, um, I wouldn't call it like an outcropping, but like something that extends out from the top of the roof. Just gonna move this to the side here. All right, so now just gonna try and make this one so it's not too indented. Let's see, if we're about here, let's call it about point. two and in there. And we'll probably do the same for these ones. All right, so I think that's about where I wanted it to be. I'm going to extend the bottoms, the bottom of the doors, because they do cut out of the building. So now let's see how this one turns out. All right, so we have the openings for, kind of where the windows and the doors would be. And I think I can go with that. Just gonna make a quick duplicate of this so I can have that as a backup. But now in here, I'm gonna go ahead and apply the modifier. And now we have kind of like the openings for where the doors would be, the window, and this bigger window on the side. Okay, let's go ahead, and what I wanted to do now is add kind of um, the trim that goes around the doors and the windows. One thing that I noticed, if we look here, is I've kind of made this a little bit too close. So I'm just going to make these a little shorter to, on top of that, kind of account for the trim. So I'm just going to keep these as strictly where the opening would be, very guesstimation here. Okay. So now that that is in place, let's create some of this trim. And actually what I'm going to use is just a copy of this because it's already at the size. If we look and they're kind of just stacked, so there's like a flat thing here. It's not like that trim where it like comes in as an angle at an angle. So, straight, everything is, that's why I like this one. It's pretty simple shapes and pretty easy to recreate. So let's do this. One thing that I wanted to look at is, and let me also take a look at some of the other images. Yep, so it extends out in there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to duplicate this piece and scale it on the y-axis and then extrude it. And unfortunately, I'm extruding backwards, so that's why um, it looks a little bit, but Control N and just flip the normals around. So that way it kind of encompasses that edge. Hey, Imran. Yeah. Only one in chat in chat today. Well, yeah, it's like I said, it might not be like the most interesting of streams, but it's one of those things that have to be done. So yeah, hopefully the results should be good to look at. That's what I'm hoping, and uh, and we'll see how it turns out. Because again, it's um, I wanted to create a couple of these buildings, and since I didn't have anything else going on, I thought, I haven't done Blender during the stream in a while, and I thought, why not? There's gonna be some stumbling, yeah, but hey, why not? We'll do it. Hey, Gitish, welcome. Hey, yo, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. How are you doing? Yeah, well, this is kind of also when you do a Boolean, there's some of the artifacts like we'll need to address that before we do the unwrapping. But yeah, I think it should be fine. The main things that's going to happen uh, is creating the trims. The building itself, you'd be surprised. A lot of the things that I've at least noticed with the stuff that I've done is mostly like the trim around um, especially when it comes to buildings, mostly the trim is what brings in like the uh, makes that acid pop, because you can texture the walls and all that with brick and whatever, but if you add some nice trim around it, that really makes things, at least for me, it takes it up a notch. Okay, well, one thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to import, especially when I work on some of these buildings, I want to import like a texture that is kind of if you think of it like siding, so let's look at the image here, and this kind of helps me a lot. Um, so you can see like like the horizontal lines, and I want to import a texture just like that for one, to make sure that I have the proper UV unwrap for such a surface, but second, also to use it to kind of get a bit of a reference on how things are oriented for like trim pieces. And so yeah, this texture itself will probably only have like two materials, or this object will probably only have like two materials applied to it, like the kind of this yellowish, or whatever color the siding is going to be, and then the trim, which, you know, definitely a different color, maybe white. This white would be fine. I like the combination of this yellow and white. I don't really have a lot of that in my world, so that's something that I might end up using. But like I said, let's um let's get some kind of a trim texture, and for that, I'm just gonna jump into Mixer here, and what I'm gonna do is I am going to look at my local library and see if I have some siding. And this is just I'm trying to like uh, not not hackishly necessarily, but I'm trying to find something that might work. I'm not entirely sure if it's called siding in in Unreal. Let's see what I have in my world, because I know I have some siding, like this material here. This should work. Just wanted to get the texture out of it. So like I guess it's facade. There you go. It is a Megascan asset, like a Quixel asset. But I actually wanted to see where the source is. So since I can't find it right off the bat, I'm just gonna export it. Sometimes what I've noticed is it's a lot easier to just export things, and then in here, let's do a quick smart UV project. I'm gonna separate this just for a little bit. Sometimes I like to separate materials that have a single material and then join them together. So this one here. Oh, and another thing, what I like to do is I like to turn on ambient occlusion just so that things are a little bit more visible with with that ambient occlusion in. All right, so just going to also apply the scale, because sometimes the UV unwrap does not like it if it's not scaled properly. All right, so let's open this texture that I've just exported. So this way I can see it a little bit better. Okay, so for example, this one here, I'm just gonna need to reorient it a little bit. So there we go. Now when it comes to the building, so we can do this as well since we're here. And I'm also gonna use this one. And this is kind of what I was interested in, just to get the UVs scaled as close as possible, even though it's not the same uh, texture that is gonna get used, but there we go. But and since we're here, we actually, now that I'm thinking of it, we might as well just bring in a different texture for this one, just so that we can look at it, see the differences. And now that I know that this particular one is called facade. Let's see if we actually have something in here. Facade. Oh, that's not how you spell it. ID. There you go. And then should add some wooden. Yeah, so there's like a wooden facade here. So all types, surfaces, and let's also call it wooden. All right, we got a number of options. And I think this one, come on, I am clicking on it, but it doesn't really, I can't really select it. That is so silly. See, I can add that to my layers, but when it comes to something online, I should have been able to just select it and download it, but apparently, oh, there we go. Yeah, I guess it didn't really like, there's been some flakiness with Epic servers from what I can tell lately. And I think maybe we'll be able to get something here. All right, so painted wooden planks. Yeah, doesn't work. Okay. Well, anyways, thank you, Epic, for almost dropping Mixer now. But we'll just use this. I was hoping to get a different texture just so that. But let's actually do that. I'm gonna go through and do it from from Quixel Bridge here. Hopefully this one is not gonna be as flaky as Mixer. All right, so let's see. Wooden facade. You're offline. Ah, great. Okay, well there we go. We have um, some things here. Not all of them are necessarily to my liking, but you know, maybe uh, something like this maybe could help. All right, so I'm just gonna download this and then export the base color so I can use that in Blender. All right, so with that exported, let's go ahead and I'm actually gonna use that for the, since the trim was white, I'm gonna use that for the trim. So I'm gonna go ahead and open that one from here. There we go. And of course, this is not the, you know, how it's gonna end up, you know, while in the engine, but like I said, I just wanted to have something for reference. Hey, Shadow Knight, love from India. Hey, love from over here too. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. All right, so now that I have this made, I'm just gonna go ahead and duplicate it and kind of make it around there. Just flip it around a little bit, just to so they're not like all the same. And also move the UVs around. There we go. Then this one. And since these are not going to be enterable structures, I'm just interested in the surface, or like the kind of the exterior part of it. All right, so let's move these around a little bit, just like that. Okay, so we have some of these sides. Let's do the tops. And if we look at the source reference, this one kind of just overlaps to about here and then goes to about here. seems like they actually go over, they go a little bit off of that side, so let's do that as well. All right, one thing that I might have not paid attention to here, and I hope not, is there, okay. Kind of just the openings. That's one thing to try and keep kind of close together. Let's see how far off I am. So GX, this is 2 point, I'm gonna keep it at 2.15, and then I'm gonna try to do the same on this side. Just like that. Okay, perfect. So I think those the openings match a little bit better. Okay, so we have that. Let's see what else we need. We need one for the corner and one for the top section. So I'm just gonna go with this. Nope. So the nice thing about this being a kind of a rectangle is that it's going to cover the corners, so that should help. The only thing is it's not square, but we'll make it. Let's see, what do we need to do? So this one is 0.15-ish. There we go. That's about square-ish. All right. All the way to the top. Let's place it on this side as well. And on the back side, the other thing that we're going to need to do is probably just place a door opening on the back side of this, and that should be pretty easy. We might just use the same opening that this one has here to place it over here. So let me go back to where my backup for this was. All right, so there's the piece that we're going to use to cut out the shape. All right, so there we go. We have kind of uh, the back side of the building um, has like a little door to it. So with that, I think I'm just going to apply this one. I guess with the booleans, you can always also apply them, you know, after you make the UV unwrapping. Sometimes I just like to do them before. All right, and for this one, I'm actually going to use this trim to place around the door. Just try to make it all tight like that. All right, that looks pretty decent. There we go. Okay, so we got a door there. Now let's do the trim around, kind of going around the top. If you remember, like what we were looking at is this trim, just going right around here. I guess I might need to extend the building out a little bit, but let's see how that works. Maybe what I'll do is I'll actually just use these tops here. I'm actually really curious to see how this ends up in the engine. Like I said, I haven't done 3D modeling in a stream in I don't know when. So hopefully this will turn out okay. Okay, so now this part here is sometimes these corners are I want to say annoying. That's why I was kind of thinking of rolling this all the way to the top. But let's just make it so that let's see, how do we want to do this? We can probably do it like this. There, I think that should work. Oh, and I guess we already have one over here. I forgot about this one. I mean, this is really simple, simple modeling. Like the stuff that some people do with like the organic stuff. Uh, that's where it's like the complexity. This stuff, simple. All right, there we go. And then this piece here, just want to bring it back there. There we go. A little bit of a hiccup over here. Let's kind of make these, even though it's not going to be visible by anybody. All right, there we go. So we almost have all the trim going on around the building here. Now, what I wanted to do is I wanted to get this thing kind of that extends out. So for that, just going to grab the building itself and extrude it out a little bit. And the one thing I forgot is this one. We'll just give this like the material for trim. And then this one is going to have the material for maybe walls. All right, so because the reason that I wanted to do that is in here, we're going to have this face that we're going to just extrude out of and scale it out. Did I not grab everything? What's going on here? Oh, my bad. Let me just remove doubles in case I've added any of them in. There we go. So now we can extrude and extend this first piece out. Might need to make it a little bit thicker. It's just, there we go, to about there. Now the only thing is, if it's not a square, it's not going to extend out properly. So let's go ahead and I'm going to try and get him as square-ish as possible. So we're going to size it on the x-axis. There we go, to about there. All right, that's good. And what I wanted to do is I'm going to add this other material, which is our trim, and assign it to this. And also use the texture just to see it a little bit better. There we go. As you can see, like the UVs are pretty messed up, so we'll fix that. All right, and so what we have here is kind of this piece here, and I guess there's like a little bit another level there. So I'm just going to extrude it out and extrude this out and extend it out. There you go. So I'm going to try and make these as lined up as possible. To about there. There we go. So now we have that kind of two-tiered type of um, overhang, so to speak. I'm not sure, but I think you might call it an overhang. All right, let's clean up a couple of these here. Limited dissolve. All right, there we go. So we have just a flat surface for the roof. And since we're here, let's also add the roof material. And what I'll do is I'll then set this a little bit and then extrude it down just to add a little bit more shape to it. There we go. All right. Now let's finish the UV unwrapping for these sections here. I'm just going to select everything. And usually I'm just going to use the Smart UV Project. When it comes to some of these shapes, they're pretty easy to handle, though. Yeah, it's a little bit difficult, a little bit different than when it's a rectangle or a shape. So I'm just going to add some edges along the corners. So mark this as seam, and then just select those. So now I should be able to just do a simple unwrap, and there we go. We have just like um, like a straight surface. That should be easier to unlock. Hey, PUBG, and yeah, unfortunately I don't speak uh, what language that is that you're typing in. So English, please. That would help everybody. Just kind of using a common language. All right, so yeah, this one already looks better. Everything is straight, and I want to use painted wooden. There you go. Okay, yeah, so that looks quite a bit better, and we're actually getting closer. I have to say, it's it's turning out okay. Now, I wanted to do the next piece for this is going to be the door, and that's a little bit let's take a look at that. So as you can see, there's this door has some like glass in the middle and these kind of insetted surfaces. So let's do that. I'm gonna grab one of these faces here and separate it. This is gonna be our door. And I'm going to start just extruding that out. And now let's see how many slots or pieces we have. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 4. All right, let's see how my math is going to work here. So first, I'm just going to try and get the outline first here. So let's get 2 and then try and push those to the edges. And then, so that's going to be like each one of these edges. And now we want to separate the middles. Yeah, this is where it gets a little bit complicated. So let's see if we can do it a little bit differently. 1, 2, 3, 6. So we want to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we got that. And then we got 4 like that. And now what I want to do is I'm going to select the faces here. And let's press I to inset, just like that. And oh, before I click, there's an option to do an inset individual. So then we can make them like that. There we go. So we got all the little indentations. And from there, we can extrude this in. And while we're here, let's make them like scale them up a little bit. So down here, if you select the individual origins, it's just going to scale each one of these at, on their origin point. So I think that might make it look a little bit better. There we go. All right. Now we know like the center section is going to be the one with the glass. So I'm going to select these pieces and add another material here, which this one's going to be glass, and assign it to that. Now this one, I could use, it looks like it's just painted the same color, but it's, in our world is going to be different because, this one is going to have one normal, this one something else. So I'm going to go with selecting all these. And as you can see, the cool thing about it is that it's already unwrapped. All right, and for this one, let's add another one, and this one's going to be door, maybe surface or wood. So assign it to that. All right, so we have the door. Now we want to select the glass, and then once you Control I to invert the selection, I'm going to apply a trim to this, so the trim material. And in here, what I want to do is, as you can see right now, if I'm going to apply the wooden facade, actually, it's the other one, the painted wood. See, they're not really well aligned, and sometimes that's what I don't really like about doing insets, because it does create um, a little bit of a tough time to unwrap this. But this one was one of the ways to do it. Of course, you can. This can be a different texture, of course. And now that I'm thinking of it, we might as well. I think we can leave it as is for now. I'm just going to be a little bit lazy for it because since I'm not going to use like this type of like trim, this type of trim texture, and just like probably just a painted wood that doesn't have these like these lines going across, you know, you won't be able to tell if this is like this being just a wood surface. So we'll see how that turns out. The other way that I was thinking of doing it is just using one of these pieces and then just using an array to create all these slots. So that could be another solution. We'll see how this turns out once it's in engine and textured. But for now, I'm gonna leave it like that. So let's place this about where the door would be, right around there. And for this other door, I'm not entirely sure why this one, when I duplicated it, maybe, no, it's not overlapping anything. So let's see, is the glass and the door wood should be selected. I'm not entirely sure why these ones did not get selected. Let me undo real quick. Why is it that when I duplicate it, this weird thing happens here? That's kind of, oh, okay. That makes sense. Guess I wasn't selecting all of them. Okay, well, that explains it. So let's try and place these about where they're supposed to go. All right, so we got the doors right about somewhere in place there. All right, let's try and place kind of the uh, what would be a kind of a boarded up window, similar, kind of working on it just a similar way that that this one was. And so I'm gonna grab this surface here and just pull it out a little bit. You know, scale it up so that it's right above this edging. And let's work with again with this method of just insetting. And let's see how many we have. Like this one's broken down in 4 squares, so we'll do it like this. All right, and we can scale this down a little bit, just like we did before. And for this one's going to be the glass. So let's assign that. And then the rest of it is going, let's see, did I apply to the right surface? Maybe I haven't. Let's assign that again. I thought it was gonna be able to, I was gonna be able to deselect it. So in order for me to apply the other material to it, let's go ahead and try and deselect it. Okay, I think that worked, but did it work on the right surface? I think it did. Anyways, all right, so I'm gonna apply to this the trim. All right, so the trim should be applied to the outer edge, and this one should have the glass. So we have the glass, we have the trim. There we go. Good. All right, so we have the resemblance of a window there. That works. And I'm just going to use the same window to place it over here. All right, so yeah, the building is starting to take shape. It should definitely be, like I said, be helpful to place it even around like the residential areas and in some other locations on the map. And it's a very simple structure. All right, well, I think we're at a good point to finish off the exterior walls. Let's go ahead and do that to get these unwrapped. And let's just apply the wooden facade to all of them just to get the proper reference of how big our UV maps should UV islands should be. The nice thing is that having the trim around the corners, it's going to help with you know where these kind of joints meet. So all right, and let's also unwrap the roof. It's unwrapped, but it's not like it's not the proper size. Okay, well, so now just going to select everything and we'll see how this looks as a first iteration in the engine. And I don't have anything for garage here, so let's export this as the garage. And of course, there's like I said, one of the reasons that I'm still using 2.79 is I have this plugin called HardOps that's going to add kind of the really nice beveling around corners and such. So we might try and use that. Hey, Cursor, welcome. Still using Blender 279. That's what I just mentioned. I have a bunch of add-ons that I purchased for 2.79, and I wasn't about to purchase them for 3 dot whatever. Um, and I'm also very used to the shortcuts in 2.79, so I'm a lot quicker. And for simple modeling like this, you can use Blender 1, you know. Um, so it's to me it's more of just a workflow speed and like I said, also these add-ons that I have that you need to buy the new version when you go to 3 dot something. Okay, let's import it and we'll start maybe place it towards kind of this end of town, somewhere around here to start, just to see how it fits in. All right, well, let me see, where did I put these ones, these buildings? They are in buildings. Let's do a garage here. All right, let me see where that one is at. Where did I export it? I'm just gonna need to do this one more time. There it is. All right, so let me make sure I got everything in here imported as properly. And now we'll also kind of see the scale of it. And I mean, it I think surprisingly, it might just be right around kind of the proper size just by using that image. I know it's doesn't really it's kind of interesting to see, but it's a little smaller, but it's pretty close to where the scale should be. So it could be a little bit bigger. Like right now, let's see, the scale of it is 3.5 meters tall. So let's actually make it about 4 meters tall. There we go. Not the best pivot point at the moment, but it should work out. Okay, there we go. That's better. I'm kind of one thing that that I didn't account for was the perspective, like the angled view. So I think it's a little small when it comes to maybe I still need to make it a little bit bigger. The main thing being around uh the the kind of the garage doors. Even though it's about, it's kind of a little tighter garage, but I think it should work. There's a little bit of a stretching on the UVs here. It should be easily fixed. Yeah, let's apply some texture to this and see how things how things will look. And then we can adjust the size. All right. Well, first of all, I gotta get some like some kind of glass, and I'm just using some opaque glass over here. There we go, like that. Now we'll do the trim. So the trim being all these pieces around here. And for that, a good set of wood that I found is, if you remember, guys, something that I've purchased that I shown yesterday is in this building. Hey, Cursor, you don't texture in Blender? No, I don't. I actually just use Blender like you've seen here to to ensure kind of like the kind of I'm not sure if you call it like texel density or like the texture alignment is okay, and like the UV scales are also okay. So that's the only place I use Blender because it's just a kind of an uh, added work uh, to um, to import the textures in Blender. I know you can export them, but since I don't do that much modeling in Blender, it's just having to like, get into that workflow again and do it again and do it again. So it can get a little difficult. All right, well, let me find, hopefully, we'll figure out which one of these meshes are one that I can use for this trim. So, because I wanted to use this kind of trim, which is pretty nice. So, this wood painted, reuse. All right, so that one's gonna go in my trim here. So there you go. That one looks quite all right. And this is kind of where a little bit of the issue I mentioned earlier, where the kind of the directionality of the wood grain might bite me a little bit, and this is a little bit of that issue. So the door might be something that we'll revisit to get it to look a little bit better. But everything else looks okay with that wood trim. So I'm quite happy with that. All right, and now for the siding, going back to this, and let's see this wood painted. I'm guessing this could also work. Yeah, but this also has the grain, so it's a little tough here. I'm gonna need to go into this asset and optimize it a little bit as well, but let me find like wood planked. There we go. I think that might do it. Planks painted. So we'll use that for this. There we go. Kind of like that. And yeah, that particular one is it doesn't give that contrast between like the trim and the siding. So I might try and find something else. Let's see. This wood painted. Do we have a different one that we could use? Yeah, not for that, but for this one. Let's do a wood painted B because I think it did have an option to add a color. So let's try and get one that's kind of in that yellowish. I kind of like that. Just gonna do this wood paint, this planks painted B, and we have the mask. And do we have an option to tell what color it is? Is it just through desaturation or saturation? Apparently that doesn't really do anything. Color change. There we go. That adds a little bit of variety in there. So there we go. That's what I was looking for. Hey, that's nice. Turned out okay. From 0 to, something. And so now for the door wood, which is these squares here, let's try and use, let's see, which one was the one that I just applied? This wood painted. That is kind of just the same as this one. Let's do a wood painted B, and we'll do the same treatment here. So color change. Let's see, I think we can copy this and paste it here. There we go. Okay, so we have, it's a little, yeah, even though I pasted it, it's not really close to this. But let's see how it looks in the engine. There we go, not too bad. And I also need the roof. So let's grab this roof material. and apply it to our garage. Oh, and I think I might have, yeah, I forgot to apply the material to this edging also. That should be a simple fix. But the main thing that I wanted to do is kind of get a little bit of a proper asset for the window here, and you know, um, try and see if I can do a little bit better on the door. So for that, let's go back into Blender, and we'll try and go with the second option here, and that would be to create one of these squares, and then just use an array to create the rest. So let's add actually, I'm just going to copy it from here. So that part. So the reason I wanted to do it like this is because first I wanted to have kind of the wood grain go across and down, and it's a little bit easier if I just fortunately start from scratch, but it shouldn't take too long. So bear with me here for a little bit. Luckily, I only have to do this once. All right, let's remove doubles. Actually, my bad. Didn't select the right ones. And edge loops. Oops, nope. Dissolve edges. No, that wasn't it. I was thinking there was a way that I could just only dissolve edges, not edges, but limited dissolve. There you go. I forgot it was limited dissolve. Okay. There we go. So now we have, a grain, straight grain going across horizontally, one that goes vertically. So that should make it a little bit easier. And yeah, let's see how that's going to turn out. So we have this one item here, and let's go ahead and I'm going to add a modifier, array, and we have 6 of these. 6, there we go. And for this one, I haven't done, I don't think you can do a proper UV unwrap while in a modifier like this. So I'm just gonna do it like that. And from here, just gonna unwrap. And oh, I forgot to remove doubles. So I think this might be better suited to be UV unwrapped from, from a projection from view like this. All right, so maybe this is actually, it's going to get triangulated with this piece here. So I'm thinking, removing that extra piece maybe didn't really help or improve anything. So it's going to be fine. But one thing that I did forget is I should have also selected these ones here, because these are also going to follow the same grain. So I can do it like that for all those. There we go. All right, and now the other ones. We'll do the same project from view and just rotate them. There we go. I think that should look a little bit better. And now for this piece, I'm just going to add an array modifier. Let's do a -1. And we got 4 of these. Let's apply them. And now let's make sure I got the proper materials assigned. These ones should actually be glass. And I'm not going to care about the back side of this because this one's already, kind of pushed in. And you're not going to be seeing it from the outside anyway, from the inside. All right, well, let's see what mess we've created. All right, there we go. That already looks better. Having the grain kind of going across that way. So yeah, that's a pretty decent result. I'm quite happy with that. One thing that I'd want to do is, it looks like since all of these come off of the same piece, I might want to, you can see there's like, you can see the repetitiveness here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these and, better yet, what I should have done is actually just use an array. There we go, kind of like that. So now I can just go back into this one item and select my glass and also my door and do project from view. So we got something like this, and which hopefully should end up in a little bit of variety across the surfaces. And also, let's see if I can remove doubles. Yeah, this is going to be, I was hoping that I should not have removed, this is kind of my mistake. I should not have removed that kind of cleaned up those edges because they become a little harder to select, but should be pretty easy if you just do it from the side like this. And I should have actually gone a little bit to these ones as well. All right, so that should add a little bit more of a variety, and the same thing for these ones here. There we go. I think that's what we wanted to select. Scale them up a little bit. All right, well, let's see the updates. Okay, that's a little bit better. All right, and another small change that I want to do here, just because I am picky, would be on this edge. And with the edge, you can select all of it like that. That's good. And I wanted to, let's see, I think it's a bevel. So if you hit B, actually, I thought it was bevel. Oh, it's Control B, my bad. So if you do Control B, it's going to split it up like this. And if you roll the mouse, there's going to be like an uh, extra beveling level, so to speak. Because since these are kind of the roll-up type of doors, I wanted to add a little bit of indentation in there, and just to help with it a little bit. So we'll see how this one works. Before I do that, actually, it's pretty hard to come back from a bevel, and I'm just going to make a duplicate of this. That one's the old version. We don't need that. So yeah, let's do it in here. So Control B, we'll do one. And now let's select the middle. And push it in a little bit like that. There we go. And before I bring it into export it again, I'm going to try and apply that this sharpen thing to it. As you can see, it added the beveling all around, but it's kind of a little bit too much of a oops, that's not the one that I selected. So let's try and reduce it. Kind of like this. All right, and also for the corners, try and apply the bevel here. There we go. And also do it for the roof. Just like that. And also since we're here, just going to apply the trim to these areas here. Okay. So now let's see how that change helped. And I'm also gonna, oh, it's nice. It applied it to this window as well. So let's select everything. Cool. And we can export it. And back in here, let's see the change. Like the door is something that's really up close. There we go. That makes it look like it's a kind of a roll-up door. It softened the corners with the bevel everywhere. So, and yeah, I forgot about, I guess I didn't apply the window to this one. Oh, actually this one was boarded up. So not too concerned, but I'm gonna need to fix like the alignment just like I did with the other one. Let's see how it looks in here. Oh, that's moving a little too quick. There we go. Okay, and I think the scale of it is quite all right. Let's delete this guy and fix the terrain around it a little bit. I think this would be its final positioning for now. Let's fix the terrain. There we go. And actually, what I was thinking of doing, since we had that slope on the backside here, let's actually keep that. And if you recall, one of the buildings that we had way back here, which is not loaded, had uh, the basement, not the basement, but the kind of the yeah, I mean the basement walls, even though it's not under wall, but it was that brick kind of surface. Imran, so core mechanics are ready? Yes, I would say pretty much all the core mechanics are ready. What I might want to do is uh, work on the enemy AI a little bit. Like right now, they're decently smart, but they're not doing like any covering, so they're not looking for points to cover or retreat, either based on their health or anything. So they're just, straight up aggressive and, that's it. So yeah, that's let me save this because I'm not sure when I last saved it. But yeah, as far as everything else, well, the other thing that I need to add is to the saving system to make sure that I'm saving like the player states and its inventory when you actually save the game. Right now, it's only saving like the settings, so the thing that I showed yesterday um, with the game settings, but it's not saving like the player location, so where you were at, where it uh, um, you know when you exited the game, you wanted to save. So yeah, that's the there's a just these kind of minor how should I put it, you know um, life comfort type of things. But yeah, when it comes to missions, the NPCs handing you missions, interacting with the NPCs, interacting with the world, picking up objects related to quests, all of those are in place. So there's these like exactly like you were saying, refinements. Like for example, I um, I was working on, and I got some improvement from it as well. This particular package is very modular. The but in turn, the problem with that is that you see, like this building, it could actually pull in just like, 7 or 8 draw calls, but it pulls in a lot more because there's like all these different pieces, even though they have the same material, they're a different piece. So um, I need um, to optimize some of these buildings to kind of the exterior to merge them into one mesh and make them to use less materials. So yeah, these are definitely refinements and a little bit of grunt work. It is, there's no such game without grunt work, but yeah, those are kind of the some of the pieces that I still need to put in place. So yeah, hopefully you guys joining the streams, you can see progress from week to week. At least I think I'm seeing progress, and hopefully you're seeing some of that too. And yeah, getting closer and closer to it. All right, so let me grab in and place that cube that I had there. I think it might be this one. So now that I have this nice material, I can, place it around here as not necessarily the basement, but kind of the bottom part of this building. There we go, like that. I'm really liking this kind of triplanar projection. It is so helpful. All right, let's just fix up the terrain here a little bit. Just like that. And we'll put like a little bit of one of these like small structures. Again, these sails, that's another thing that is so awesome about with Epic, doing all these sales and getting like all these like amazing assets. It's yeah, it's awesome. So yeah, there we go. It's as easy as that. Let's actually smooth it out a little bit around here and do a little bit of painting. All right, so I think maybe I want to change this one to not be necessarily brick. This is a triplanar brick, and let's do maybe, I don't know what to use for this one. Let's do some like old wood type of thing. Let's apply that and see how this one's gonna look, because I wanted to make like a small deck over here, kind of like coming off of this back entrance. And let's do that. And we'll see what we can find. Oh man, I have so many tabs open. All right, let me see. I know I have some wood that I keep on using in other places. I think, when it comes to working on this by yourself, like, on your own, the most difficult part is keeping track of things, and trying to reuse things, and where have I put that asset, or what was the name of it, you know? And that sometimes can can become cumbersome, but I think it works out in the end. All right, let's see, where is that? Uh, Panel, some planks. Okay, I think that could work. Yeah, and that's definitely it. Combine that with, just, doing it part-time. It's yeah, it definitely extends the the time it takes, right? So, all right, there we go. I like that. Let's actually, I'm gonna rotate this to make it like this. There we go. Okay, I think I like that as a base. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, good. And yes, so let me see, because what I wanted to, like I said, reuse is this piece here, or actually this piece. Yeah, it can be, it can be. That's it I it in all honesty, it did take me a little bit of time to get used to it when I first started. It's but I also had the experience of, with CryEngine, so it, you know, I wasn't, it was kind of like I knew how to swim, but this was like a different style. So I just needed to learn that new style of swimming, if that makes sense to folks. There we go. And what was the name of this guy? It's that guy right there. Okay, there we go. That's a nice side to that. And next, let's also add a door on that end there. And let's see, what do we want to use here? Maybe something like this. It's kind of see-through, kind of not see-through. I mean, it would definitely fit it. So yeah, let's use that. Let's put this on the grid so things snap together easier. And so we got the frame, and we got let's see, this is 06, 6B. There we go. Just kind of like that. It's almost like that. That's better. All right. So this is going to be, it needs to be scaled up a little bit, but luckily not too much. So the main thing is if this one goes like over like, 1.5 times the size, but I think this is going to be like 1.2, like maybe. Let's see. Oh, not even that much. Yeah, I guess it was pretty close, 1.2. There we go. And it's got a nice door to it. All right. So this one here, this was not boarded up. Okay. At least I don't think it was in my reference image. Let me see, where's my references? Didn't look like it was. But now that I'm thinking about it, I do have that that really cool decal that I'm just gonna make use of. Where was it? It was right here. So I can apply that to, oh yeah, that's gonna work, I think. It's a big window. Let's try and place this to above, to about where the door would be. And on this side, this is kind of a metal framing. I don't mind it, but I would like to have like the trim going around it. It's a little big. So let's see. Do I want to keep it a little closer uh, to that part? Yeah, now let's see if I can go back in here. And where did we place that? On here on this side. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to grab these faces here. All right. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to place this right around here. This is I don't think I've tried this uh, because I think it might be better if this was also a cutout. Yeah, so see, this is, what I was talking. I'm so used to, like, I tried to use the latest, what do you call it? The latest Blender, and a lot of the keyboards are not so much the same. And I was like, okay, you know what? For doing this, I'm, I think I'm gonna be fine. Just using 2.79. 1 second, guys. All right. So yeah, I think we'll see how this one ends up. And with that, we might just end the stream. All right, let me clean this up a little bit. I don't need these faces. Actually, I just selected a little bit too many. This, and this. So basically, I just wanted to have this frame kind of placed up against the wall. And if we position the decal as best as we can, it's hopefully gonna look like just like right around the frame. And cursor, this is I think one of the other reasons that I kind of like to texture it in Unreal. Just that in Unreal I'm able to change a bunch of these materials as I see fit, right? All right, so let's see how this is going to fit. All right. Let's see, position this around. I thought I was doing it a little bit better than this, but apparently not. Let's see if that works. There we go. So now let's just try and frame it inside of this. Okay, that's vertical, seems to be fine. Let's see if we can get a horizontal in place. Okay, I think that's gonna work. I can probably move it over a little bit. Yeah, I think that's gonna work. I'm gonna need to, like I was telling you, I'm gonna need to fix the kind of the UVs for these. But yeah, other than that, I think that's gonna work with that decal in there. There we go. Okay. Well, I think that was one thing that I wanted to add here is maybe like a little bit of just one decal for the asphalt. Let me see, where would I find one? Should be in here. Oh, it's not. Like something like that. All right, that should do it, I think. There we go. And one last thing, I promise. Where was I? Over here. This little kind of roll bump. All right, there we go. Still a little torn on that, but I think I like it. Okay. Well, so there you go, guys. That's it actually turned out a really productive stream from my point of view. This building, I can reuse it in other places as well. I can easily go into it and kind of modify some things around to give it a little bit of variety. You know, switch the materials around a little bit. So, maybe one of them is going to be like a little bit of a whiter color. Like, maybe replace, use the trim for the walls and the walls for the trim. So, small changes like that. But yeah, um, that's I think that's gonna be it for today's stream. Like I said, I didn't have a lot of anything else planned, but hopefully it was something interesting to watch. And uh, yeah, you guys have a great rest of your Sunday slash Monday morning. And I will see you next week. There should be some more, hopefully some more things around just the gameplay. I'll try and refine like the first mission if I get around to it. The handoff of the tablet, getting the first mission and getting to that person and them handing you the weapon or telling you this is where you find it and picking up the bow from the basement and then taking out some of those enemies outside the houses. So yeah, at least that's my plan. Hopefully it's gonna come to fruition next week, and I'll see you guys then. All right, take care, everybody. Thanks so much for stopping by. All right, bye.